Hey guys, happy whatever day it is that you are watching this video. I first want to thank you for clicking on this. It warms my heart that you have done so. So today I have another requested video for you, which is my favorite kind of video to do. I like making you all happy. I was requested to do an eyebrow tutorial. So how I decided to do this is I'm going to actually do 3 types of eyebrow products. So if I look weird, it's because I am. But what I decided to do is I've done my face makeup from here down so that you all didn't have to look at me barefaced this entire video. But I didn't do my makeup on my eyebrows because I'm going to do my eyebrows 3 times. So I'm going to be taking my makeup off in between. So that's what's going on with my face now. But we're just going to be talking about eyebrows today. 3 products or types of products we're going to be talking about are an eyebrow pencil, which is if you are a beginner, and I'm going to be going through this at a beginner level. So if you are a beginner, I think this is the easiest type. This happens to be the Benefit Precisely My Brow. This is a great one. This is a little more higher end, so you definitely can get, more drugstore type, but this is a great place to start. So this will be the first one I do. There's also pomades. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and if you do a pomade, you have to use a brush. I talked about all sorts of brushes in my last video if you want to check that out as well. It would also warm my heart. But that'll be the second variation that I go through. Again, Anastasia Beverly Hills is more of a luxury brand. There are certainly drugstore brands and more inexpensive options. I have some that I love as well. This is just the one I'm going to be using. And then the third way I'm going to be showing you is I think probably the least often used, but it is an option, and that is with powders. This is a brow product. This is by Brow Bar. This specific product came with 2 powders and a concealer type product, but it's not my color. I've never used it, but I'm just going to be using the powders on camera, and it also came with a gel, so I'll use that too. But I think this is important to show you because this will show that you can actually use eyeshadow as well if you don't want to invest in an eyebrow product quite yet. If you want to kind of give this a couple goes, see how it goes for you, and then decide if you want to invest in any type of eyebrow product. Before I get started, I did also want to say the style I'm going to do. I'm not really going to be going for Instagram perfect brows in this video. Like I said previously, this is more a beginner focused video. So I'm just going to be kind of going for my brows but better, or really filling in your brows. You could get to Instagram perfect brows from this if you just kind of filled it in more and perfected, made that really kind of perfect, those perfect lines and everything. And I'm gonna also, there are a lot of styles of brows that you could be going for. For all 3, I'm just gonna kind of show what the societal norm is right now. I put a lot of thought into what I should do for this video, and that's kind of what I decided. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with the brow pencil. Most brow pencils have 2 ends to them. The one end has the product, and it's a very, very small pencil type. Well, usually it's a retractable pencil. And then the other end is a spoolie. That's what this is called. Yours might not have that. If it doesn't, you probably have a brush around that has a spoolie on the end. So regarding what I was saying earlier with kind of societal norms, basically today's beauty standards, if that's what you're going for, if not, just kind of take the pieces of this tutorial that work for you. But today's societal standards kind of indicate that the portion closer to your nose is going to be a little bit lighter, and then the rest is going to be more filled in. That's kind of the easiest way to think about it. So keeping this portion, this kind of first, 1/6, a little bit lighter, and then filling the rest of this in. Not necessarily in like a block, just kind of filling in where you might have see right here I have a spot that's not quite filled in. Right here I have a spot that's not quite filled in. So that's what we're going to think about. Another societal norm right now is the bottom kind of being in a straighter line, kind of a more clean line, and the top perhaps being sometimes not as clean, sometimes a clean line. So that's up to you. I'm gonna do more towards a clean line, but I'll show you both so you can kind of decide, because since I'm gonna be taking these right off. So I like to start at the front. By front, I mean closer to the nose. And what you're gonna do is you kind of figure out where your brows naturally do stop, and then just lightly, and keep in mind that you're not, when you're drawing with this, you're drawing on your skin. Like, you're physically drawing on your skin, not on your hairs. So that is where you're trying to get, but you're drawing something that looks like hairs. So I'm drawing a little hair-like consistency, and I'm pushing very lightly right now because, like I said, the societal beauty standards right now indicate that it'll be lighter in the front. So I'm just drawing little strokes of hair, kind of filling this in just a tad more. And that's pretty much it there. Now some people like to draw a line all the way along the bottom to get that nice clean look. I do not like to do that. I don't think it looks quite as real. It is up to you. But what I do is I do the bottom is I go along and I fill in the bottom to make it look like more of a clean line, but with these fake hairs, basically, with these drawn in hairs. And start higher than lower, because if you go lower, I mean, you can always take it off, but it's better to start too high and work your way lower than starting too low and having to erase and potentially start over, which is not the end of the world. It's just makeup. So I am going a little lower than I initially did here. And I am pushing a little harder than I did at the quote-unquote front. By front, I mean nose. Okay, so now that line is looking much more clean. Although, see right here, I went down a little too far right there. So I'm literally just gonna take my fingernail and kind of get that. You could also clean this up with concealer afterwards. Depends on how you'd like to do it. Okay, so now I'm gonna fill in just the inner portion of the brow, and again, I'm pushing a little harder than I did towards the nose. My brows are relatively thick. I don't need to fill in too much, so this depends on your brows. And then I'm gonna do the top. So the top, like I said, that's your preference if you want a nice clean line or if you want it more natural looking. Both are kind of in right now. So I'll do the natural looking one on this side with just, so I'm drawing in hair-like strokes, but I'm just kind of filling it out. Kind of making this arch a little better. And that's it. So I'll quickly do this one so you all can see again, but I'll speed it up just to make this a little faster. But then I'll slow it down again when I do the top. Okay, if you notice on this side, I'm actually drawing in a little bit more of the brow tail. This brow tail is a little stronger than this one, so this one needs some help. So wherever in your eyebrow you need to do that, you can definitely draw in and help yourself. I mean, that's the point of makeup, is to give yourself that boost wherever you need it. So I'm just drawing that in over here. Okay, and now on this side, I'm gonna do the upper part of my eyebrow with a little more of that perfected look as opposed to the natural look. And basically I'm just doing longer strokes, kind of making it looks a little less natural, a little more sculpted. So you can see the difference between the two. The more sculpted is kind of thicker, the more natural is less thick. I do both just depending on what I want to do, what look I'm going for that day. With the more sculpted though too, I could have brought this down further into my brow. This is just kind of the shape that I like to do. And keep in mind also, you can give yourself more of an arch. You can, when you're doing your eyebrows, you can, once you get more comfortable, you can do a lot more fun things. So let me take this off and then we will do the next type. Okay, my eyebrows are naked again. So we are gonna do the pomade version. So for pomade, you will need an eyebrow brush and the pomade. So an eyebrow brush is very similar to an eyeliner brush, but the telltale sign on which is which is almost always, I've never seen this otherwise, an eyebrow brush will have the spoolie at the end. And the main difference between an eyeliner brush and an eyebrow brush is an eyebrow brush is just slightly smaller. The reason being you're trying to get those brush-like strokes. Another tip I want to give you is if you have an pomade and it dries out a little bit on you, you can absolutely bring it back to life by adding just a little bit each time you're using it of some type of makeup or face oil, or what I actually have been doing is I've been just doing a little spritz of this hydrating rose facial spray. And you will have to do this every time. Don't add so much and you'll just think it's brought back to life forever. This was like $18 for this little pot, so like, yeah, I want it to last. So pretty much everything I said from before is gonna be the same this time, except I'm just kind of dabbing in here, getting some product, and we're gonna do the same concept. Lighter in the front, and then more bold in the back. I'll say that a benefit of a brush is you can kind of get a little more square footage, so to speak, when you're doing kind of like the bottom. You can kind of cheat and do a little bit more of this, you know, straightening out at a time, and then go in and add hair strokes, which I can kind of get away with because I do have a lot of hair. If you don't have a lot of hair and you're really needing to add each one in one by one, then that doesn't apply as much. Another thing I want to mention is if you notice, I've been raising my eyebrow and I've been working on the bottom. I want to say a word of caution about raising your eyebrow because I've done this many times. Be careful about raising your eyebrows while you're working on them, because I've noticed I have a tendency to raise my eyebrow more when I'm working on this one, and it'll end up with a certain arch, and then I do this one and I don't raise my eyebrow as much, and then it ends up with a different arch. So I raise my eyebrow when I'm working on the bottom because I can get to it better, but I try really hard not to raise my eyebrow when I'm working on the top and that part of the arch. So just think about that while you're doing your eyebrows. I'm guilty of it, so I'm just trying to warn you. Okay, so that's the pomade. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the other brow with the powder. Hopefully that has shown you enough with the brush. It is really basically the same thing, except you do just have the little more coverage with the brush. You're just dipping in, going in, and painting it on. If you want my thoughts, if you have very sparse brows and you really do need to draw on each individual hair, I do think that a pencil would be better for you, because I just think that you will be able to get the really thin line better, unless you can find a really, really good thin brush. All of my brushes, I do not get the most hair-like consistency, which is fine for me, again, because my brows are relatively thick. For this brow, this is the last technique we'll do. I'm gonna use the powder. So you can buy something like this. I actually got this in BoxyCharm, so it was really fun to try, and I actually like it a lot. This, like I said, this is by Brow Bar, and it came with 2 different colors. Or, as I said in the intro, you can just use eyeshadow, and I've absolutely used eyeshadow if I'm traveling and I don't want to bring in another product. You know, my bag is getting full and I just don't want to bring an eyebrow product. I'll absolutely use eyeshadow for my brows. You can do that. You are not cheating. It is absolutely allowed. This just happens to be formulated for eyebrows, apparently. So these colors, neither of them is really my color, so what I do is I go back and forth between them. And I'm just going to use the same brush that I was using before. So make sure you are using an eyebrow brush. Or if you don't have an eyebrow brush and you only have eyeliner brushes, that's fine. Use that. You can use things for other things. Words of wisdom. And we're going to do the same thing that we were doing for the other two. Lighter inner towards the nose, and then we're going to get a little darker, filling things in, trying to get a nice clean line along the bottom, and then whichever way you prefer for the top of the brow. Okay, this brow turned out much bolder again. This is just the bold brow. Okay, so now I also want to show you the brow gel. This is a product that you should get or should think about getting if you have more unruly brows. If your brows are kind of always going every which way and they just don't want to stay in place, or if maybe you're about to go to an event or something and you really want your makeup to stay locked in place and you just don't think a setting spray is going to cut it for your brows. This is a product that is supposed to, or that generally will, help keep your brows in place. Think of it like a hair gel for your eyebrows. They are generally tinted. This is a slight brunette color. And you just run it through the old brows and it's just going to help them kind of stay locked in place. And I can do it on this side too. I can do it over the pomade. I can do it over the pencil. This happened to come with the set with the powder, but you can absolutely buy brow gel separately. So if you think, oh, I want to try the pencil eyebrow application, but I also would like a brow gel, you can buy those separately. That's not a problem. Lots of companies make both of those. And you can also get it clear if you think, I'm nervous about putting that on and it throwing off the color of my brows. Perhaps you have lighter hair, comes in clear as well. The one other thing I wanted to mention, the other kind of topic about eyebrows I wanted to mention before we signed off of here is foundation and concealer. Regarding concealer, one thing if you want more Instagram perfect or really snatched looking brows is after you do your brows, you can go along the bottom with concealer, particularly if you get, this is a very dirty brush, but you can get concealer on your brush and really, it's called carving it out, and carve out under that brow, and it'll give you a very clean line. Like I was saying before, the societal standard for beauty right now on brows is having a very, very clean line at the bottom of the brow. So that is an option for you. I generally don't do that. I just try to get a clean line just with whatever brow product I'm doing, but that is an option. You can move up to that or do that as you would like. And then as far as foundation, there is, I don't want to say an argument, but there's kind of playful debate in the beauty community over whether you do foundation first or brows first. It's whatever you prefer to do. I personally prefer to do foundation first, so I'm going to take my brows off, do my foundation, and then do my real brows for the day. And I prefer to do that so that I don't have to worry when I'm doing my foundation if I get my sponge in my brows. That's the only reason. But some people have a different mindset and they prefer to get their brows done first and then do their foundation. I think that their mindset is then their foundation can kind of clean up the brows if there is a problem. So whichever way you want is not wrong. Either way is correct. Either way is fine. It is what works for you. So do whichever way you like. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And leave a comment if you would like as well. That would mean a lot to me. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm wearing my Haunted Mansion headband today because we're more than halfway to Halloween. Do you guys have an idea for your costume already? If you do, will you let me know in the comments? I'm a huge Halloween nerd, so I'm really excited. So I'm going to tell you that in the intro. I'm the worst. Okay, well, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this is helpful for you guys.